So, what's maybe the single most important investment your organization can make right now? I'll give you a hint. It's not just about buying fancy new software. It's about training your people on artificial intelligence, building a workforce that's actually ready for what's next. So, yeah, let's get into it. And let's just start with a really direct question, right? Is your workforce, truly ready for the AI revolution? Because look, this isn't some far-off thing on the horizon anymore. It's here, right now, and it is completely reshaping industries as we speak. Okay, think about it like this. Go back, say, 20 years. You remember when digital literacy, just knowing your way around a computer, went from being this special skill to something you absolutely had to have for pretty much any job? Well, that is exactly the same shift that's happening right now with AI literacy. It's the new baseline. It's the new normal. And what that means is the entire conversation has just flipped. It's no longer a question of if AI is going to be part of your business. That ship has sailed. The only questions left are when you're going to fully integrate it, and maybe more importantly, how well you're going to do it. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with why AI is the new digital literacy. Then we'll talk about training for every single role, what the core curriculum should look like, how to roll it all out smartly, and finally, how all of this comes together to build your future workforce. So, first up, the new digital literacy. Let's really dig into why AI training isn't just optional anymore. When you get this right, the payoff is huge. Seriously, when people actually get what AI is, they're way more likely to use the tools you're spending money on. That means higher adoption, which means a better return on your investment, right? But it's not just about the tech. The human side is just as big. Resistance to change, it plummets. And what goes up? Job satisfaction and a sense of career security for your staff. It's a total win-win. Okay, but here's the thing. You can't just throw a one-size-fits-all training program out there and call it a day. A tailored approach is absolutely key. Think of it this way. You've got different audiences with totally different needs. Your executive leadership, right? They don't need to code. They need the big picture, the strategic view, so they can make smart decisions about where to invest and how to compete. Then you've got your technical staff. They need to go deep. They need the hands-on skills to actually build and implement this stuff. And for everyone else, the general workforce, the goal is to get them comfortable with the core concepts and really good at using the specific AI tools that'll be part of their day-to-day jobs. All right, so we've covered the who. Now let's get to the what. What does your team actually need to learn? This is where your core curriculum comes in. Any really solid AI training program is going to stand on 3 pillars. First, you have the foundational concepts, just demystifying what this stuff is and what it isn't. Second, you need practical tool training so people can get their hands dirty and actually use it. And third, and this one is so important, is ethical and responsible use. You have to make sure this incredible technology is used the right way. And let's just zoom in on that ethics pillar for a second, because it is crucial. Every single person in your organization needs to understand a concept like AI bias. They have to know that an AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. So if you feed it biased data that reflects historical inequalities or just bad assumptions, then the AI's results will be biased too. And that can lead to some really unfair discriminatory outcomes. This isn't just some tech issue. It's a huge business and ethics issue. And circling back to that first pillar, the foundations, this is all about cutting through the hype and building a realistic picture of what AI can and can't do. People need to grasp the basics, like what machine learning actually is. They need to understand that the quality of your data is everything. And maybe most importantly, they need to know where the limits are, to be able to spot those scenarios where you just can't replace human judgment. That's a critical skill. Okay, so we've got the why, the who, and the what all sorted out. Now for the really practical part, the how. It's one thing to have a great curriculum, but actually implementing it successfully across a whole company, that's a whole other ballgame. Look, the smartest way to do this is with a phased approach. Don't try to do a big bang launch where everyone gets trained on day one. It just doesn't work. Instead, start small. Train your leadership first and identify those enthusiastic people who can be your internal AI champions. Let them run some pilot programs. Their success stories will create the buzz and momentum you need to expand, and you can use all that early feedback to keep making the program better and better as you go. And you've got to remember, people learn in different ways, right? The most effective training programs aren't just an email with a link to some boring online course. They're a mix, a blend of different styles. You've got live, instructor-led sessions, hands-on workshops where people can really dig in, and peer learning where colleagues can help each other out. That variety is what keeps everyone engaged and makes the learning actually stick. And of course, you're gonna run into challenges. It's inevitable. Probably the biggest one is just plain old fear. Fear about job security or anxiety about not being technical enough. You have to meet that head on. Be direct. Create learning environments that feel supportive and low pressure. And show people how AI can actually enhance their jobs, not just eliminate them. Little things, like pairing less technical folks with mentors or starting with small, high-priority projects, can make a huge difference in building confidence. All right, for our last section, let's pull the camera back a bit and look beyond that initial rollout, because this isn't really a short-term project. It's about fundamentally shaping the long-term culture of your organization. And this might be the most important takeaway for the long game. AI training is not a one-time thing. It's not a box you check and then you're done. This technology is moving at an absolutely breathtaking pace, so your training has to keep pace too. The real goal here is to build a culture of continuous learning, where staying up to date isn't a chore, it's just part of how you work. There's a great way to think about this that really sums it all up. The best AI training programs don't just prepare people for the tools we have today, they prepare them for the constant technological evolution that we know is coming. See, you're not just training people to use a tool, you're training them to be adaptable. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. When you're weighing the cost and the effort of putting a real AI training program in place, you have to ask yourself the other question: what's the cost of doing nothing? In the world we live in now, what's really the bigger risk? Investing in your people's future, or just hoping the future doesn't notice that you're not ready for it?